Hey, I wanted to take some time today to talk to you guys about starting old diesel engines. So YouTube is scattered with videos of people who find old farm tractors and old diesels and fire them up for the first time in years and years. And there's nothing wrong with that. Some of them are pretty fun to watch, but a couple of key things that I want you guys to know about before you go and start an old diesel that hasn't run in a while is one of the quick things you want to check is the condition of the turbo. So when you're working on something like this one, normally you would have the air connection going to the air filter coming in right here, and this side would be hooked up to the exhaust piping. But one of the things you should probably do before you first start that initial crank on an old one that's set for a long time is take the piping off on this side and feel around inside of it and look for oil or coolant, kind of give you an idea if this turbo's leaking. Pull the hose off up here at the top where where the air comes out of the turbo, goes through the charged air cooler to the intake. Look inside of it, check for oil, coolant, and that's kind of lets you know a general idea of the condition of the turbocharger. But then beyond that, it's kind of hard to see, but if we look inside of this turbo right here, you can see the impeller wheel. And one of the things you want to do is you want to reach in here. So let me find a turbo that I can show you a better view on it. We'll come over here to this Cummins. When you're looking at the inside of this turbo, what you want to do is you can see that nut right here in the middle of the turbo. You want to try to pull that forward and push it back. So that's going to tell you if the thrust washer in here, how much thrust back and forth that shaft has. And if it has a lot of thrust, that tells you the turbocharger is pretty worn. And what that could lead to is as soon as you start this up and start flowing oil into this turbo, that turbo could be feeding straight through this tube into the intake. And you don't want that to happen. The other thing you want to do is take a hold of that nut, maybe put your thumb against it and try to push it side to side, up and down. If you got too much movement that way, then the bushings that support the shaft are worn out and can also lead to that oil leak. So you can save yourself a lot of issues if you check those things on your turbo before you start it up, because a worn out turbo, I mean, the best case scenario is it gets fed some oil and it stutters before it shuts off. Worst case scenario, it runs away and blows up, or the impeller shaft or the shaft itself explodes, and that causes all kinds of issues of stuff contaminating your piping, your charged air cooler. It ends up leading to more money. So if you just do these quick checks real fast, you find out if you need a turbo or not, get a better turbo on it before you start it the first time, and save yourself a lot of money from expensive repairs after that. So that's one of the key things check on an old start.